When I was a young man, I served my apprenticeship as a librarian at Lambrick Hall. Lord Richmond was a firm but fair taskmaster who, despite his somewhat gruff exterior, was capable of acts of great charity. I have previously written of how he once paid for me to take a voyage on the Strathhart whilst I recovered from a bout of influenza. He did, however, expect my work to be of a highly exacting standard, and as such, I would work diligently to ensure that the library at Lambrick Hall was catalogued accurately. Often this would mean me working late into the night, quite literally burning the midnight oil to complete the day's task. Lord Richmond, whilst remaining impressed by my work ethic, seemed uncomfortable leaving me to work alone past the witching hour, and he would often find an excuse to join me in the library. You, my dear fellow, will be a librarian of great quality and long-standing, but I think you will be more famous for something else. I have something for you, he said, moving behind the wing-backed armchair and bending to retrieve something from the floor. He produced a leather travelling case, which had seen better days, and offered it to me with more of a flourish than it rightly deserved. To set you on your way. I steadfastly refused to let Lord Richmond see my disappointment, and I took the case from him all smiles. "Well, thank you, my lord. This will indeed prove a useful travelling case for the future." Despite my endorsement, I hardly thought the case stood any real chance of surviving even the short journey to Weeping Bank. "It's a portmanteau," Lord Richmond announced, as though I had missed something. I had heard the term before, but had never seen one. "Most generous." "Quite so, but I fear you may have misunderstood my gift. I did not intend for you to use the portmanteau merely as a travelling case. Please," he gestured towards his desk, "open it." I hesitated, but only for a moment, my mind racing to what treasures might be contained within. I did not expect to be rewarded for my work, but equally I had known Lord Richmond to be extraordinarily generous in the past. I laid the portmanteau upon the desk and unclasped the locks. The case opened with a slight creak of leather, and I looked down into it, my mind's eye imagining jewels from every kingdom on earth. The upper tray was bare, but when Lord Richmond encouraged me to lift it free, I found that the compartment beneath contained reams of yellowing paper. A strong scent of mould had been released into the air. I was quite literally at a loss for words. "We have discussed many times a growing interest within you for the esoteric, my friend," Lord Richmond said, leaning across me and pulling free a rolled sheaf of paper tied with a deep red ribbon. "And so, as a parting gift, I would like to pass these on to you. They may prove to be the foundation of your future." He was speaking as though I fully understood his words. "These were not amongst the library collection," I said. The papers were too distinctive to have slipped my memory. "They were not," Lord Richmond agreed. "I had them removed from the estate records many years ago, partly so that I could study them at my leisure, but mainly because they simply didn't feel as though they should remain part of that collection." "They are not historic documents, then?" Lord Richmond looked at pains to comment. "I see them more as an apocrypha to the main records, though you may judge them very differently. All I will say is that I have never been able to adequately explain any of the stories now held within this portmanteau. I trust that they will make for an intriguing winter read for you sometime, and as the years go on, a reminder of your time here at the Hall." With that, Lord Richmond clasped my hand, and I took my leave of him, the portmanteau riding proudly upon my knees all the way to Weeping Bank. That was many years ago. But the truth of Lord Richmond's prediction was uncanny. I have become famous as a collector of chilling tales, and the contents of the portmanteau did indeed prove to be the starting point for that journey. Yet, for some reason, I've held them back for presentation until tonight. Perhaps the late November chill is acting as a timely reminder of shorter days ahead, and drawing out the latent desire within me to revisit the past, if only by way of memory.